But it's not enough to just know it, because as you shared before, you can read self-help books. And so what is happening to us? Because you talk a lot about the conscious and the subconscious. So can you go on? Because people go, okay, everything that happens is neutral. I give it meaning, but
Yeah.
how do I control the meaning I give to it? Because it seems like that's a lot of effort, and people have good intentions, but yet they're still not changing their perception.
Right. And that's because another misperception is the concept called the mind. When you say the mind, you're implying the existence of a single entity, a mind. I go, first problem is the mind is actually comprised of two interdependent parts, meaning two parts that have their own functions, but it can integrate together and create something. So I say, let's define the two parts, because this is where the whole crux of life issues come from, and that is this. The latest evolution of the brain, right behind your forehead here, is called the prefrontal cortex. It's a lobe of brain tissue, sticks right out in front of the brain. This is the seat of the conscious mind. The rest of the brain, about 90% of it, is constituting what we call the subconscious mind. So now I have two parts of the brain, conscious, subconscious. But now I have to say they have different functions, and the biggest problem is they learn in different ways. So let's step back and say the function of the conscious mind is the one connected to your personal source, your identity, your spirit. And the character of the conscious mind, and this is critical, is creativity. The conscious mind can be creative. It can have imagination. It can think of anything and then create something. I mean, you can have the idea, let's go to the moon. Oh, well, then first we create the rocket ship, then we go to the moon. So we create that, okay? And I say, well, okay, so that's the creative part of the mind. It occupies about 10%. And then I say, and what are the 90%? I call it subconscious mind. I go, oh, what's different? I go, well, first of all, this function is not creativity. The function of the subconscious mind is programs that allow us to carry on our life because we don't have to relearn things that take us a while to learn. I'll give a very important example. Learning how to walk occurred around age 2. And I go, well, guess what? Once you learn how to walk, you could be 100 years old. You have a program to learn how to walk. So the programs that come in are very critical because we don't have to learn how to walk every day. Imagine, I mean, if you had to relearn how to walk every day, then you spend all day learning how to walk, go to bed, and then wake up and start learning again. But the reality is, once we have a habit, all I have to have is the intention of walking to the other side of the room, and the intention, and then next thing I'm walking. So I say, well, this is really cool. The conscious mind has a creative nature. Let's go to the other side of the room. But the subconscious mind has the habit of walking. And the reason is, on a quantitative basis, the mathematics of walking and nerves and muscles is so complex that it would just stun your conscious mind with how much it had to do. But the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful. A computer can handle walking no problem at all. So our habits are put into our subconscious mind. I go, so what's the relevance of this? So I start off and I say, give a very simple example. I said, you buy a brand new computer, you take it home, it's got an operating system. So you say, start, and the thing boots up. Now I say, now do something with it. They go, like what? I said, write. Oh, do you have a write program? Oh, no. Oh, okay. How about art? Oh, you don't have an art program? Oh, no, you can't do anything with it. So the point is simply this. A computer with an operating system is not functional to do anything if it doesn't have any programs in it. So when a child is developing, the brain, being a computer, first step is operating system. But once I have an operating system, how do I do anything with it? And the answer is first, you have to download programs. And the brain of a child is actually, even the last trimester of pregnancy, the last trimester before a child is even born, the brain is already operating in a record mode to download programs. And it operates as a download of programs through age 7. So the first 7 years of your life is not based on creativity. It's based on downloading behavior. I say, how you do it? I say, the mind is in a low vibrational state. And what I mean vibration is where you put wires on a person's head. You can read electroencephalograph. You can read brain vibrations. Higher vibrations are in consciousness. Lower vibration is subconscious. First 7 years, we don't even reach really as a predominant level the vibration of consciousness. We are pretty much locked into subconscious. It's called theta in the technology. You say, what's relevant about it? Well, theta is record. So during the first 7 years of a child's life, you record the programs that your computer is going to use. So I download not just read and write programs, I download how to be a member of a family, how to be a member of a community, how to behave, how not to behave. I go, oh yeah, how did I get all that? I said, first 7 years, you just observed it. You're like a video recorder. Everything you see, everything you hear, boom, download subconscious. Why? Conscious mind's not working yet. Conscious mind only works when you have enough programs in there to then use those. 7 years is downloading programs. A very important aspect of that, Lauren, that I think we should emphasize is that the conscious mind is not working during this period. I say, so what? I say, well, then the programs that get downloaded were never reviewed by you. They were just downloaded, whatever they were, good programs, bad programs, limiting programs, whatever. They were downloaded. Conscious mind wasn't there to go, ooh, that's a good one, that's a bad one. No, conscious mind wasn't there at all. So I say, well, then the programs in the subconscious were never reviewed by you. They came from other people. And so that's how you get off the ground. So by age 7, you start to become conscious. Now you can use the programs of how to move through your family and move through your community and know all the rules to do so and all that. But then you become creative, because after age 7, the conscious mind creativity kicks in. Now the problem is this, and the problem is the creative mind expresses your wishes and desires. Lord, what do you want out of your life? If you answer that question, that's a creative answer. By definition, you have to use creative brain, conscious mind. So I go, oh, so the conscious mind is creative. It has your wishes and desires. What do you want? Love, health, happiness, community, job. That's creative. That's really wonderful. I say the subconscious mind just got programs that are good. And unfortunately, about 70% of the programs we downloaded as kids were disempowering or self-sabotaging beliefs that limit who we really are. And I say, okay, well, fine. I'm not going to use the subconscious mind. I got conscious mind. I gotta be creative and make my wishes and desires come true. And I go, great intention, problem. The problem is this. The conscious mind, look at your body as a vehicle, and there's a steering wheel that takes you to where you want to go. And when the conscious mind's driving the vehicle, you're going toward what? Wishes and desires, aspirations. Great. But here comes a problem. The conscious mind can also think. So what's the problem? I go, thinking is an internal job. Meaning, let's say right now I ask you a question. I say, tell me what you're doing at Thursday. And you look around, you go, well, there's no answer out here. Where's the answer? What I'm doing? Oh, it's inside. I have to think. So I go inside my head. Thursday, what am I planning? What am I doing? So I see I got my eyes closed right there. I'm thinking. I say, why is it relevant? Because thinking redirects the conscious mind to go inward, not look outside. So closing my eyes helps me to go inward because that's where the answers are. So I go, oh, then the process of thinking causes the conscious creative mind to look inwards and stop looking outwards. I go, so what? Why is that important? I say, well, what if you're driving your car when the conscious mind is thinking, it lets go of the wheel, yes, but whatever you're doing is now going to be taken over by the subconscious mind, which is the habit mind, the program mind. I go, yeah, when I learned how to drive a car, I learned also the behavior of driving the car as a subconscious program. I don't have to think about it. Go back to the first day you got in a car and put the ignition key in there. And it's like, oh my God, gauges, windows, mirrors, what's going on? Overwhelming. Now I say, today you've been driving a long time. What do? You get in the car, you put the key in, start it. You're thinking about where you're going. You're thinking about what you're going to do. All of a sudden I say, well, man, when you first started driving, it was all conscious attention. I say, yeah, but once I learned how to drive, it's now a habit. And if it's a habit, subconscious is driving. I'm not. So I'm driving the car. I'm paying attention to the road, what's going on. Then all of a sudden I think about, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the store, and my eyes are essentially closed. Why? I'm thinking. And I go, oh my God, what's going to happen? I say, the moment my conscious mind, the driver, lets go of the wheel. Subconscious mind is autopilot. It will pick up the wheel and start driving. It knows how to drive. It knows how to walk. It knows how to talk. It knows how to do your job. So biggest problem, finally, Bruce gets around to it, Lorne. Use a lot of words to get here, but here we are. And here's the problem. The conscious mind, which is creative, is actually controlling your destiny about 5% of the day, because 95% of the day is the time the average person spends thinking. So that means, let's do the math. 5% of the day, you're driving your vehicle in the direction of wishes and desires. Great. 95% of the day, you're driving the vehicle based on the program you got from other people. And if that program doesn't satisfy where you want to go, I can't help it. You're going to be taken to wherever that program took you. If it's a positive program, great. If it's a negative program, you can manifest all that negative stuff. So basically, what it comes down to is this. Are we running our lives with our wishes and desires, or are we running our lives with programs? And the answer is 5% wishes and desires, 95% program. I go, well, what are the programs? Because these programs are up to 70% of them are disempowering, self-sabotaging. And you go, well, I got the program in the last trimester of pregnancy through the first 7 years. So then I asked, okay, so what program did you get when you were 0? No, I don't remember that one. Okay, what program did you get when you were 2? No, I don't remember that one. Huh? And all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, 95% of my life is running from a program. And most of those programs, I was never there consciously to see or to filter these programs. Whatever they are, 95% of my life is going to come from them. And then when you find out that the vast majority of these programs are disempowering and they're working 95% of the day, and here's the big click here, Lauren, and that is, it's called subconscious for a reason. Sub means below. And so 95% of the day you're operating subconsciously below consciousness. I said, well, then how is it being run? I said, consciousness can go disappear and think and do whatever it wants. Subconscious knows how to grab the wheel and drive, but it's only going to drive you to the destination that the programs have given you. And if most of those programs are negative, then guess what? 95% of the day, you're driving off the road and you're in a lot of problem right here. And I go, well, geez, I would know that. I would take care of myself if I saw my behavior was really off the tracks. I go, it's called subconscious. And the reason why you don't see it is, why are you playing it? Because the observing conscious mind went inside to think of something, and the subconscious grabbed the wheel, took over. Then the conscious mind has no observation of your behavior 95% of the day, because it's automatic. And I go, the great story I tell in lectures, and you were there for a number of years, 30 years, same story. God, I hope it's not boring, but to me, it's the story that really just says, this is how it works. Like say, you have a friend, you know your friend's behavior very, very well, and you happen to know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the exact same behavior as their parent. So, you got to tell your friend, you go, hey, Bill, you're just like your dad. Back away from Bill. The moment you say that to Bill, the first response out of Bill is, how can you compare me to my dad? I am nothing like my dad. And everyone laughs, and that's why I keep telling the same story, because everyone has an experience about this. And I go, what is the most profound of that conclusion? Is simply this. Everyone else can see that Bill behaves like his dad, because that's where he got the program from in the first 7 years. The only one who can see it is Bill. I go, how could Bill not see that? And I said, why is he playing the program? Oh, it's conscious mind's thinking. Therefore, Bill does not even observe that when he's playing his dad's behavior, he doesn't see it. Everybody else does. And I go, wow. So then Bill's not running his life. His program's running his life. I go, yeah. Now the big, so what? Every one of us, 95% of the day, engage in behavior that was downloaded into us by other people before age 7, and that this behavior is predominantly what controls our life. And I go, well, here's the problem. Since up to 70% of those programs are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting, and it says, oh my God, if you let that mind control you, you're going downhill. There's no way to get out of here because you let the autopilot, that other people's beliefs, run your life. So this is problematic because most people think, oh, I'm running my life and then I'm going to be successful. And I got up this morning and I thought, oh, today's the day of great success. And then I go to work and then I come home and it's 5 o'clock and I go, oh my God, it didn't work today. I didn't get my success. I didn't get what I was looking for. It's just, and then what is the resulting consciousness of that? And here's where it is. I wanted to be successful. It's the universe that keeps me from being successful, because if I want it and I'm not getting it, then it must be outside is causing the problem. And I go, story of Bill. We were our own problem. Unconsciously, 95% of the day, the behavior that was subconscious, below conscious, was sabotaging you and you didn't even know it. And therefore, all you see is the result. I didn't get successful. I wanted to be successful. So it can't be me. Got to be that. I'm victim. And everybody resigns to the fact that life's a bitch. Things are hard. Doesn't work out the way you want. And that's just the way life is. And I go, whoa. No, that's just the way you created it. That's why it's that way. Because if you understand this, that you did create this, then you have the key to create something better. But if you think you're a victim, then you don't have any belief that you were involved in this at all. And that's where most people go off the track, because they say, I had nothing to do with this. And the fact was, no, you had everything to do with this, but it was invisible.
And with this 5%, as you shared before, you know, to live in that 5% takes a lot of work, and it's like that mindfulness. And so if you're going to be running that program 95% of the time, you might as well put in new programs that serve you, because the ones that we've inherited, the 70% negative ones, tend to be, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, no, I don't belong. There's all these things that we have, and then we the environment, we use our environment to reaffirm our beliefs. So I think you also subscribe to the idea that, as you mentioned before, you're interpreting things. So it's not your environment that's causing this. If you want to know what kind of programs you're running, look at your life, and that's how you know what kind of programs you're running, because your life, what you're experiencing in this 5 sense world, is often congruent with what is your belief or your programs inside. Do I understand that correctly?
Well, that's because, yeah. Well, Lorne, as I said, it's exactly the because of this. If 95% are coming from the program and you didn't put the program in and you can't see the program, then you look at, oh, I'm a victim of the world. I didn't see I was engaged. Bill didn't see it. No, I don't see it. And the idea is, but we already been programmed. And then comes, I said, but you weren't there for the program because conscious mind wasn't active. So no filtering of the beliefs came in, whatever the belief was, and most of them are critical of who we are. And let's emphasize the reason why is because parents act like coaches of a sports team. If the child isn't doing well, what does the coach say? Oh, please do better. No way. The coach is going to say, come on, you can do better than that. Who do you think you are? That's not good enough. And I say, well, if a player is old enough and conscious, they can interpret what the coach means. It's like, oh, at this moment, I'm not good enough. I have to try harder. I'll be a better sports player. That's what's taken away. But I say, if the child's under 7, consciousness isn't there. Only thing that's there is record words. And what are they going to record from that coach? Not good enough, not worthy, not lovable enough. And I go, well, why is this relevant? Because a kid under 7 years old, that is imprinted as a program in their belief system that's going to operate 95% of the day.
So for the people that they have the desire, so they have the conscious desire, I don't want to sabotage anymore. I want my desires and wishes. I'm not 7 anymore or younger. So what are you recommending for them to help change these programs so they're running programs that serve them when they go into that 95% of the time?
Well, the first thing is let's simply talk about assessing what the heck the programs are, because I said they started in utero before you were born. You can't tell me the program you got before you were born. You can't even tell me the program at 0, 1, or 2. Maybe at 3 you might start getting it, but earlier than that. So A, we don't have any idea what the heck the programs are in our conscious mind because it wasn't working. But now 95% of your life is coming from those programs. So then here comes the simple, beautiful readout, and that is simply this. If 95% of your life is coming from the subconscious, then your life by definition is a printout of your programs.